Welcome back. You're watching KTN Business Today with me, Abi Agina. To some more news now. Information, communication and technology is playing a critical role in fighting the coronavirus and the effects the disease has had on businesses. KTN's Brenda Kirubo speaks to Masi Wanjao, the Acting Director General at the Communications Authority of Kenya. Here's more.
What role is ICT playing when it comes to fighting coronavirus?
This has actually been a real game changer because in Kenya, for the large proportion of the public, working from home was not quite the norm. In the private sector and civil society, this may have been happening, but in the public sector was not quite the case. What this has demonstrated for us is that perhaps the shape and the concept of the office will no longer be the same. It's not about coming into a building, coming into an office in order to be said to be working, that you can be able to deliver work, to deliver value, even when you are in your home. Of course, this has brought up some number of aspects, especially on the cybersecurity front, because to undertake some kind of work requires movement of data, some of which is very sensitive. And when you work in the formal workplaces are embedded with layer upon layer of security. In the domestic front is really connectivity, and the layer of security was tailored for really domestic purposes. So this might actually trigger some conversations and thoughts in boardrooms on how best to safeguard the workplace in the home front, so that even as people are able to work from home, they're able to transact with data and other kind of valuable information and assets in a framework that is safe. The second thing that working from home has done is also to enable people to realize that you can actually work and be there to support the rest of the family as you continue to work. Maybe others are studying, business is being done online, and the like. And this is a very different narrative from what we were used to, and to encourage that staff are able to deliver. On our part, this has meant also a reconfiguration and a recalibration of what support to staff means, because whereas it was more of a physical space where you see people, now you reach out to them to find out how they're doing and how best you can support them in the environment that they are working. And this way we've been able to ensure that performance and delivery to our customers has continued and has sustained even in this season.
Spreading of false information is also a downside risk when it comes to technology.
Yes, this is the real vulnerable side of the information society, because the misuse of ICT resources and the misuse of information, falsification of information is a reality with us today, where you find that even as you receive information from different platforms, the social media, the websites, and groups that one is a member of, sometimes you cannot tell what is the truth, what is not the truth, and often we encourage verification of information, particularly information that is sensitive, before relying on it, because increasingly it has become difficult to actually separate which is which. And this is not just for adults, even for children, because you find now that children are also spending a lot of time, FaceTime, on gadgets, and with the lack of awareness, the lack of support by an adult who is aware of that platform, it can easily lead to a lot of mishaps. So we treat it very broadly, from the falsification of information, the fake news, all the way down the spectrum to protection of vulnerable users like children. And false information, the fake news, is a pandemic on its own, and is a global concern. And we encourage that even as you consume news, consume it from sources that are known to be authoritative, so that even as you rely on it, there is a measure of trust and confidence as to why you relied on that platform and not another.
Technology is also making it easier for people to work from home. Talk to us a little bit about this.
In this time, you find that a lot of transactions have moved online. Anything that has not attempted to move online is at the risk of being endangered. So we look at it as a huge opportunity, because at this time when the pandemic has endangered the opportunity and narrowed the scope of productivity, that with the increased rollout on our part, that this would be yet another opportunity to bring others on board, for example, through electronic commerce. Electronic commerce, we believe, is one of the new positive waves that will come out of this pandemic, because the barriers to entry are lower. Also, depending on the goods that you offer on that platform, it opens up the market for you beyond your immediate locality. So that this would position us for competitiveness as we move forward and begin to register positives in the economy and a boost for competitiveness.
How then can information, communication and technology help when it comes to addressing the economic impact of the coronavirus?
This year, the Communications Authority of Kenya is turning 20. And this is something that we are celebrating even within the pandemic, because indeed it's a moment for us to pause and to reflect where we have come from, where we are and where we are going. And it is interesting that this is happening in a year that is a leap year and a year that there is a pandemic, because it has presented us an even deeper level of reflection of how important the delivery of our services as the regulator is in opening up this market and creating possibilities where none existed. So as we go forward, we want to put in our mark of trust and confidence with our stakeholders, with our licensees, because we see a bright future, a future that will open up a lot of opportunities in the sector and that will create jobs.
All right, quite interesting insight.